When my house was being built, it seemed like a great opportunity to get a wired LAN installed, so I'd have a fast internet connection in each room without any wire showing because all the wires would be hidden inside the walls. My house is in Thailand, and when I approached the developer about putting in a LAN, he'd obviously never heard of LANs and thought it's one of those weird requests that only crazy foreigners ask for. So he said no, but I found a shop outside that operated in the 21st century and they did it for me. It turned out to be a great decision. It's a decision that I'm still very pleased that I made, and in this video I'll explain why, and I'll go over some of the basics about installing a hardwired LAN in your house. Despite having a hardwired LAN, I still have Wi-Fi because many devices such as mobile phones, tablets and Kindle readers only have a Wi-Fi connection. However, it soon became clear that Wi-Fi is very slow, and all the devices I have that have an Ethernet connection, such as desktop computers and smart TVs, are all connected with cables directly to the hardwired LAN. The 802.11 Wi-Fi standard keeps being upgraded, and because I need Wi-Fi and because I'm frustrated with the bad performance, I've kept upgrading my Wi-Fi access points. This is the first Wi-Fi access point I bought. It's wireless G, it's very old technology and very slow. So I upgraded to wireless N. This is supposed to be 450 megabits per second. This one was also slow. So I upgraded to another wireless N, which was supposed to be 600 megabits per second. That was also slow. And finally, I went for an AC model. And with this one, the theoretical speed is supposed to be 1,317 megabits per second with a range of 103 meters. And what all of these things have got in common is that the theoretical speed is nothing like the actual speed. So this one, you're supposed to be able to get a speed of 600 Mbps. You'll be lucky to get 60. And range is also a problem. So we just go outside and see where the latest one is installed. It's just on this wall. And if we just go to the bedroom, which is only a few meters away, there's not a very good signal in here. And this is only about 5 meters. It's not line of sight, but it's impossible to put the access point in a position where every device will have line of sight. This test will compare upload and download speeds between a Wi-Fi network and a hardwired LAN Ethernet network. At the moment, the computer is connected to the Ethernet, as we can see from this symbol down here. So the first thing we're going to do is to turn that off, and I'll do that through settings. This is Windows 11, network and internet, advanced network settings. I'm going to disable the Ethernet adapter. That's gone. So now we've got no connection to the internet. And what I'm going to do is to turn on the Wi-Fi. Look at my available Wi-Fi networks. There's lots of all my neighbours' networks. And there's two protocols, 2.4G and 5G. 5G is faster, but it's got limited range. 2.4G has got a better range, but it's slower. So first we'll do 2.4G, connect to that network. All connected. Now I'm going to go into a browser and go to my ISP's speed test page and start. This takes a few seconds. This is in megabits per second, so download just over 50 or 55. Every time I do this it changes slightly, but it's around the same. So okay, 58, that's better than I usually see. And upload around mid-40s. Upload's important if you want to upload things to your social media or upload videos to YouTube, whatever. So 58 and 43. Now what I'm going to do is change to a 5G Wi-Fi network using the same Wi-Fi access point. So if you remember 58 and 43. Okay, it's now connected to 5G, and do the same test again. Okay, high over 100 now. $117. I normally get a bit faster than that. As I say, every time I do it, it's slightly different speeds. And upload just under 180. Okay, so download about twice as fast using 5G. Sometimes when I do this comparison, it's 4 times. So that's the Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi access point I'm using is only about 4 or 5 meters away. It's very close. It's not line of sight. And this thing about line of sight, you can't find a location in your house for an access point where every device will have line of sight. It's just impractical and impossible. So now we'll turn off the Wi-Fi and turn the Ethernet back on again. So I will enable the Ethernet network adapter. Okay, it's connected now. You can see from the icon down here. And now I'll rerun the test. This is using the hard-wired LAN Ethernet connection. And immediately it starts to fly up 500. Actually very slow today. Whenever I usually do this test, it's up in the 900s. This is around midday on Saturday, so I guess there's a lot of people at home and everyone's clogging up the network in Thailand. But even from this test, you can see that the hardwired network is much faster than Wi-Fi. Now that we've seen the obvious benefits of a hardwired LAN compared to Wi-Fi, what I find a bit strange is that so many people are just not interested. I've met people who are having houses built and suggested doing what I did, installing a hardwired LAN, and they just say, oh, you know, why bother, I'll just use Wi-Fi. When the ISPs started using fibre optic a few years ago, they deliver 1,000 megabits per second to your door, and it just seems such a shame that if you're using Wi-Fi, you're only using a fraction of that speed. I've also heard people who have had fibre optic internet installed boasting about their fast internet speed, but as they're only using Wi-Fi, they're only using a tiny fraction of that maximum speed. If you want to install a wired LAN, you'll need one of these, which is an Ethernet switch. They come with different numbers of ports. This one has 8, this one has 5. So you put it in a central location and then run wires from everywhere where you want an internet connection to this, plug the wires in, and that's what makes your network. They're quite cheap, very reliable. I had this one switched on for about 9 years permanently and it never went wrong, and they use very little electricity. And I've just upgraded. These ones are 10/100, which means they have a maximum speed of 100 megabits per second. And I've just upgraded to gigabit versions, which have a maximum speed of 1000 megabits per second. So let's go to look at my actual installation. This is where I've got my Ethernet switch, just a cupboard under the stairs. So it has a small power supply. And then these cables come from every room in the house, and they're all joined together here. This one has 8 ports and I'm actually using 7. This is the modem router from my ISP. So the fibre optic cable comes in here and connects in the back. And then there's 4 RJ45 outputs. One goes to the Wi-Fi access point up here. Another 2 go to connections I've added subsequently to doing the wired LAN, and one of the connections goes downstairs to that Ethernet switch, and from that it then goes to every other room in the house. So I've got fast internet in every room. The best time to install the wired LAN is when the house is being constructed. This is one of the original points, and as you can see there are no wires visible. The wires are all hidden inside the wall. Since I had it done, I've wanted to add another couple of points, and that's not so easy then. If I wanted to, I could actually channel the wall out and then hide the wire, but that's quite a lot of work. So what I've decided to do is just to add a socket externally and have some plastic conduit that goes up to the false ceiling, and then the cable goes across and then down into one of the ports on the modem router. It's not an ideal way of doing it. In an ideal world, I wouldn't want any cables or conduit showing on the outside, but doing it this way just saves a lot of work. If you're installing a wired LAN after the house has been built, this is probably the easiest way to do it if you've got false ceilings. Just add the sockets, add some conduit, run the wire up above the false ceiling, and then connect them all together wherever you've got the Ethernet switch located. Whether it's worth your while adding a wired LAN to your home or not really depends upon your own situation. If you're just a light internet user, maybe use a mobile phone to do Facebook, whatever, it's probably not going to be worth it. In my case, my children are always watching YouTube videos on the smart TVs. They've got desktop computers, I've got a desktop computer, my wife's always using her phone, and quite a lot of the time other people come into the house and are using the internet connection, and it really makes a big difference, certainly with streaming videos, and if I'm trying to upload videos to YouTube. And as you can see, every smart TV has got a wired Ethernet connection. It's that yellow cable just down there, and every desktop computer in the house. So in my case, it's been really worthwhile, and whether it's worthwhile to you or not just depends on your own situation. I hope that was useful. If you have any comments, questions or other feedback, please leave them below, and more videos soon. Thank you for watching.